Sovereign individual, anarchy, national governments, which is best? Chapter 1. We, the people, have been ruled forever. The sovereign individual, free, no masters. Why is it so hard for humans to live like this? My study of human history goes back to the supposed first human civilization, which is the Sumerian dynasty. Zechariah Sitchin claimed to have deciphered some of the 100,000 plus Sumerian clay tablets the British found in Iraq between 1850 to 1890. He wrote the book The 12th Planet in 1976. He said that a race of beings called the Anunnaki came to Earth from a planet in our solar system called Nibiru. They needed gold to take back to their planet to spread into the atmosphere to keep their planet healthy. They genetically created human beings as a hybrid of the primitive beings they found here mixed with their superior genetic code, with not enough intelligence to make humans equal but enough to make them obedient. They wanted worker slaves, intelligent enough to follow orders but not smart enough to think advanced thoughts or rebel. The Anunnaki left because the humans got too unruly, had a lot of sex with each other, fought, hated, ate too much, etc. Right after them, the Egyptian civilization sprang up. They had a pharaoh who was a supreme god-king entity with his council of religious military business elitists. They ruled the people, made some of them work for free and charged some of them taxes. They had a class of privileged and servants/slaves. The human race has been ruled ever since then. Everywhere you go, a small group of elitists rule the people. They provide some services like roads, security, water, etc. but at the same time, they want tax money even from people who don't want to be a part of their system. Many people have no choice. They must comply or be punished somehow. On one of the Faces of Death videos, I saw them quarter a guy in Russia for not paying taxes. They tied a horse to each of his limbs, then made the horses ride away. This was the punishment for not paying taxes. The quandary is when the government wants my money in taxes. I have no problem with the government planning the roads, hiring police officers, picking up the garbage, etc. but they do not have to borrow that money from banks, which are fraudulent in the sense that they create money out of nothing when they make loans through their process called fractional reserve banking. A solution is for governments to create their own money to run a society, but be prudent enough to not create so much that the value of the money goes way down. Under this system, the people would pay no taxes. The banks are the culprit with their fractional reserve banking, creating money out of nothing. That's the dirty trick that have kept them running the world forever, the bankers in the back rooms, and almost nobody knows. They're so quiet about it that almost nobody understands how the world really runs. Back in the day, they didn't have fast transportation, so most of Europe was ruled by city-states, small parcels of land controlled by a few elitists with the range of a few hours of horse travel. They extorted, exploited, and controlled the people somehow. This is the way it was in much of the world. We're sovereign individuals in some spiritual sense. God made us all free to pursue our own destinies, but we're in bondage everywhere, in particular mental and wage bondage. I listened to a Christian guy, Nathan Reynolds. He has a YouTube channel and the website snatchedfromtheflames.com. He said we're like the animals. We were born free. Nobody rules them. Why do we allow ourselves to be ruled to the point of absurdity? We're brainwashed by the system. Everywhere a human lives, there is a system bearing down on him or her in some way. It used to be religion and government, then it moved into free public education, which is a brainwashing factory. My public schooling was 50% good, 50% indoctrination. From then, we got mass media. Now we got cell phones. Many people think it frees them up, but a cell phone is a great brainwashing tool. It gathers information about you and spits out ads and news articles based on what artificial intelligence observes you doing. It knows a lot about you and knows your location all the time. The monetary system is such that most people have to work very hard for paltry amounts of money in order to pay their bills and keep a roof over their head. Most jobs pay enough to keep an individual's bills paid, but not so much that people can quit their jobs and pursue the free bohemian lives they want. Most of us work from 20 years old at least to 60 years old. As far as anarchy goes, I'm against it. I like Jeff Barrick's website Vigilante.tv and his loose anarchy network or organization, but he doesn't account enough for the evil people in the world. If there is no government anywhere, evil people will swoop in to control the people and exploit the resources for their own gain. It's better to have a lesser evil pretending to be good like the governments we have now rather than having no government whereupon mafia-like gangs would take over, just like what happened in Somalia. When the government fell, several gangs of regional warlords took over, each in their own territory, ruling with violence. I prefer some law and order because the human race is so evil. The first thing they taught me in Catholic school is that human beings are naturally evil. We overcome it with obedience to God. Anarchy only works in sparsely populated areas where every individual has their own space and their own stuff, such that nobody has to steal from each other in order to live a decent life. It worked in the novel Atlas Shrugged because everybody at Galt's Gulch was rich. They had their own houses. They could go out and socialize with the other rich guys in a leisurely way. Nobody was desperate for money there, but that's not the real world. Everybody is hustling in New York City to pay those high rents. If you go to an uppity retirement community on a golf course, everybody there has money. Everything is leisurely. In the real world, everybody is hustling to make enough to pay their basic bills, then after that, they either want to bigs hots or look like cool happening people, so they're all looking to make more money. There is never enough money. That's the disease, never enough money. I studied communes. People can't live together in harmony because they sleep around, get angry, jealous and violent, plus they steal from each other, gossip about each other, lie about each other, etc. There is always one or several people in the bunch who want to rise above everybody else as the leader or the coolest, most advanced one in the bunch that everyone else should listen to. It's human ego. Dante called it pride in his list of 7 deadly sins. This is why people can't live close together without some kind of law and order. Here is a list of Dante's 7 deadly sins. Pride, greed, gluttony, lust, sloth, laziness, anger, jealousy. There is gossip drama in every community. When I was in the military, a lot of people felt entitled to be in other people's business just because we were all in the military. There has to be a certain amount of space between people in order to keep a standard of respect. Communes don't work because that invisible standard of respect is gone. People feel like they can take liberties with each other. Walden 2 was a novel by B.F. Skinner about people living at the Twin Oaks commune doing 4 labor credits a day. The problem with that is that I'm outside the system with my freedom, my views, my lifestyle, etc. Some people do not want to be a part of any society. I'm an individual with my own ideas. I believe there should be a government in order to protect the people, but a minimalist government with no invasive rules and no taxes. Leave everybody alone as long as they don't bother anyone else. It's so bad now that they're telling me I can't use certain substances in my house. I have to wear a helmet when I ride a bike, put a seatbelt on in a car, pay $15 if I want to drive in downtown New York City, and buy a fishing license if I want to fish on the side of a pond. It goes on and on. There are many rules in our supposed free countries. I'm all for a national government with a people power program where the people create and vote on big issues online as opposed to electing representatives to make decisions on their behalf. We've proven that representative democracies are a massive fraud since they were started around 500 years ago or so. They spawn fake political parties which are controlled by a few elitists in the background. That's the way representative democracies work. They don't do the will of the people. They do the will of the elitists who are hidden behind the scenes. The people were massively against the bank reform laws of 2009, but they passed them anyway. Life went on. Everybody forgot. The elitists rule. That's it. A new idea for national governments. I would like to see these 2 things in all national governments. 1. True democracy where the people create ideas and vote on them online. They can elect a few representatives to manage the ideas and the voting decisions. The people make en masse through online voting. Instead of elected representatives, we can create ombudsman in every riding, which is an independent civil servant whose job is to help any citizen with any dealings with the government. This takes the power away from an elected representative and gives it to an objective government worker. The result is that politicians aren't around anymore to be bribed by elitists. 2. National governments create their own money when and as they need it to run the economy and stimulate it. The trick is to not create so much that the money loses its value. Create enough to constantly stimulate the economy a little bit. The government will have no debt to banks who create money out of thin air. The people will pay no taxes. They will keep all the money they earn. It's that simple to create great societies. We're so brainwashed and entrenched by the paradigms of representative democracy and banks lending money to governments that the people en masse are too narrow-minded to see that we're slaves beholden to a small group of elitists who control the banks and our representative democracies by controlling the funding for campaigns and owning the few big groups that control politicians, like the Council on Foreign Relations, the World Economic Forum, APAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, etc.